All right. In this video, again, another Algebra 1 concept. We're going to be talking about the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is right here. X equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. That's going to be given to you on a quiz and a test, so don't worry about memorizing it unless you are in pre-AP. So this helps us to determine solutions to quadratic functions when not factorable. You can use it even when it is factorable. It just makes it a lot easier, especially when it's not factorable. So just using that, this is when we have the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. We would just put in a, b, and c into this formula where we see them, and then it'll tell us our solution. It's pretty cool. So this one, though, notice it's not equal to 0. We still need it to be equal to 0. Now I have a, b, and c. So using my formula, it says negative b. So I have negative, what b is, negative 3, plus or minus, so plus or minus, the square root of b squared, so b squared, so negative 3 squared, minus 4 times a times c. A is 2, c is negative 12. All of that divided by 2 times a, in this case, is 2. So really, once you plug the numbers in, it's just a matter of simplifying the numbers. Negative 3 is 3, plus or minus. That is the square root of 9. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8, times 12 is plus 96, all divided by 4, which is the same thing as x equals 3 plus or minus square root of 105 divided by 4. That's all I'm looking for. All right, same idea. This time we need to make it equal 0, so I'll add the x squared to the other side. So we have x squared plus 3x minus 15 equals 0. My pen's dying. Poor baby's running out of ink. So I have a, when you don't see a number, it's just 1, b, and c. So we have x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared, so 9 minus 4 times a times c. All of that divided by 2 times a. And just simplify the numbers. So we have x equals negative 3 plus or minus square root. Negative 4 times negative 15 is, what is that, 60 plus 9, all divided by 2. Plus or minus, I wrote over my minus. All right, you can leave your answer like that. Beautiful. The next thing we're going to talk about is something called the discriminant. The discriminant is just that b squared minus 4ac part. So it's just talking about what is inside of our square root. If the discriminant is greater than 0, we'll have two real solutions. So kind of like what we are seeing here. We had the square root of a positive number. It will come out plus or minus because plus or minus, taking plus or minus of those numbers. We would have 1 and 2 solutions. The solution when it was negative 3 plus root 69 over 2, and the solution when it was negative 3 minus the square root of 69 divided by 2. Both of those are solutions for that problem. So that was when the discriminant was greater than 0. In this case, we saw it was greater than 0. If the discriminant is equal to 0, what that means is we would have negative b plus or minus 0, all divided by 2 times a, whatever a is. So this would essentially get rid of our plus or minus, so that gets rid of that part of the equation. So we only have the solution. Actually, check it out, it's where our vertex is, if you guys remember that, negative b over 2a. If the discriminant is less than 0, there are no real solutions, however, two imaginary solutions exist. Imaginary solutions are when we will have the square root of a negative number. So it's kind of like air. We have to account for air. Right? There's air between my hand and this, and I'm compressing the air the closer I get to the camera. So mathematicians, kind of like chemists, we needed to describe air. We needed to describe the nothingness. Because there's no way that we just don't have any solutions. We have to have something that we can't perceive, so we call them imaginary solutions. Imaginary numbers, again, happen when we have a square root of negatives. There's a whole nother video about this called complex numbers, because that's what they are. where I'll go into more depth about how we mess with imaginary numbers. The biggest thing to know is that if your discriminant is less than 0, or we have a negative square root, we will have two imaginary solutions. So you're going to be doing stuff as simple as this. It says evaluate the discriminant and determine the number of zeros. Well, just like our other ones, we need to get this equal to 0. So negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 18. We have a, b, and c. So the discriminant is just the b squared minus 4ac part. So the discriminant minus 4ac, the discriminant is that. So all I care about is that this is 144 minus 4 times negative 2 times negative 18. So that is 144 minus, so we have 8 times 18 is 80 plus 64, 144. So it looks like this comes out as 0. So since I got 0, that means there is only one real solution, and the discriminant equals 0. That's kind of what I'm looking for as an answer there. The discriminant was 0, and that tells us that we have one real solution. Here we have a is 1, so we can do the discriminant is negative b squared, or sorry, not negative b squared, just b squared. So negative 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 16. So we will have 25 plus a big number. 4 times 16 is 64. 25 plus 64 is 89, so the discriminant is 89. We got a positive number, which means we will have two real solutions. Yes. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. I'll draw a bow for you. Oh, yes. Pretty, pretty solution. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh. All right, same idea. We need to find the discriminant. It is b squared, so 6 squared, minus 4 times a times c. So we have 36 minus 4 times 15, which is minus 60. So in this case, we would have the discriminant is negative 24. Since it is less than 0, that tells us that we will have two imaginary solutions. Cool, that's really all there is to it. All right, hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully you like monkeys and bananas and fruit pies and apple pies. And I will see you in class. Please, 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 please ask me questions. Love you guys. Bye.